Hey everyone! Okay, let's dive straight into this one, as I'm sure most of you are eager to fill your pockets. This guide will be divided into a few sections, and as always, timestamps are added. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy my guides, and come join us in Twitch if you have any questions or just want to hang for a chat. With that out of the way, let's talk about gold. Like you saw in the title, I've made about 300 gold per hour in-game, vendoring absolutely everything, including any blues that I got. So after 30 straight runs of vendoring absolutely everything, I can safely say that each run is worth about 45 gold in vendor. And it does take me only 9 minutes to do each run, which means we'll get locked for about 15 minutes every hour, lowering the real-time gold to 225 per hour. However, since I know some people see gold per hour as real-life time, I've thought of that too, and the answer is enchanting, or rather, disenchanting. So, some quick math. In 6 hours of real time that I've run this, I've gotten a total of 66 blue items that I disenchanted into 66 large brilliant shards. These sell really fast, cost 0 to boast in the auction house, and are still selling for 6 gold average in the EU realms. And that, minus the average price of selling those blues in the vendor, which is about 1.5 gold, adds up to 4.5 gold each, or 297 gold in total, which divided by the 6 hours I farmed ends up at 49.5 extra gold per hour, putting this farm nearly at 300 gold per hour in real life time, still only vendoring everything except the blue items. Okay, hopefully by now I've convinced you to see the rest of the video, but if not, I'm gonna throw 3 more things that can increase this farm. Epics. I've gotten a Kroll's Blade myself, and many other epics can drop in here that still sell for a decent penny. Major mana potions. In the 6 hours I've looted 34 of them, which they're still selling for 1 gold each in Ashbringer, but I'm going to save them for my own use in raids and dungeons. Finally, boosting, of course. You can very likely double the gold per hour if you find boostees willing to join, but since a lot of people don't want to have to deal with the social economics of that, I didn't include it in this video. On to gear and talents. I want to start off by saying that everything you're about to see and hear from now on in this video gets exponentially easier once you get better gear as a protection paladin, but my focus was to do a guide that anyone could follow with just gear from normal dungeons, quests, and non-exalted reputations. So this is the gear that I've used. As you can see, I'm even still rocking the Avenger's chest, as I've been super unlucky with drops. And after quite a few tries, I found that actually I prefer a pure avoidance shield over the petrified lookin guard, as honestly, its damage didn't even make me cast 1 less consecration, so what's the point of using it? At this gear level, the only things I would say are required are the figurine of the Colossus trinket, since you need it to heal and extend the kill phase, the Wrath of Cenarius ring, as 132 spell damage is just too big to pass on and helps you kill the exploding cadavers really quickly. Having about 60% total avoidance, including block, parry, dodge, miss, but with a bigger focus on block rating. Also having 425 defense to be immune to daze versus all the mobs up to level 60. And finally, have nearly 300 spell damage completely unbuffed to make sure the mobs die before you do. As for talents, mostly any protection based spec will do just fine, but I feel that Sanctity Aura is simply superior to anything else. Here's what I would say is the best spec solely for farming Stratholme that focuses on all the defensive talents you can get. Once you have better gear, you can swap out Combat Expertise to one-handed specialization, but I'd still keep Holy Shield, which is sometimes good to help finish out the last mobs. There also isn't much to choose from with the last 2 points in Retribution when trying to get Sanctity Aura, so just put these 2 points in any of these talents. However, with that said, most of you don't want to have to keep respecking between dungeons and farming, as neither do I, so this is the actual talents I used for the 30 runs, which is the same that I'm going for in heroics and raids. If you have any more questions about gear or talents, leave a comment below, join the Discord, or come by my livestream at Twitch and ask away, as I always read and answer every single comment. For consumables, nothing is really required, but I definitely advise bringing superior wizard oils, as they cost only 5 gold, last for 5 hours, and last through death. I'd also recommend bringing greater arcane elixirs once you're not dying anymore, as they're very cheap at 1 to 2 gold each and also last for an hour. Lastly, if one of your professions is engineering, dense dynamites are not AoE capped, which means that they do a lot of damage, and you can cast them while the Colossus trinket is up, as you'll heal the damage instantly. However, in this video I did not use them, as not everyone will be an engineer. Repair bots are definitely not worth it, since you reach the lockout anyway and you need to sell about every 2 runs. Alright, time for the quick top view of the run, which we'll do in 3 pulls. There are different paths to take depending on where Hearthsinger Forreston spawns and if the rare skull appears, as you want both of them for the blue items. So, pause the video, take your time to learn the routes, although nothing is better than experience. My advice is to firstly practice the pulls without any of those rares and include them later when you feel more comfortable with it. Lastly, you can use this macro while close to the areas where they spawn to instantly target and mark them with a moon, so you can adjust your pathing as you go. Okay, finally, the pull. Start up by making sure Sanctity Aura is selected, your Righteous Fury is up, and the weapon is lubricated with the oil. For most of the run, you'll be using Blessing of Sanctuary, rotating with Freedom and Protection whenever needed. Body pull or auto attack this group and exorcism the closest mob on the last pack, which will social aggro the middle one. Kite them until the next area, and whenever you're doing this now and in the future, be sure you side run or jump turn while running to avoid getting hit and low health. Meanwhile, spam the macro, and if any of them spawns, pick them up. Exorcism any undead in this pack and run close to the caravan to aggro the 3 ghouls. At this point, the mobs will socially aggro everything else and you can just run to the corner. Judgment Wisdom on the patchworks, which you will keep melee hitting, put Seal of Wisdom back up, start spamming Consecration, and position yourself with your back against the corner so mobs are always in front of you. Don't be scared and let yourself get to 15 to 20% health before you pop your trinkets, which will heal you back to full. Keep spamming Consecration, and this is the time where if you're an engineer, you can drop a dense dynamite for damage. After 20 seconds, the Colossus trinket will end, and all you need to do is use Seal of Light and keep hitting that same patchwork while using Consecration on cooldown. Eventually, you'll get down to 15 or 20% health again, which should be before the exploding cadavers spawn. Use Blessing of Protection then, and 2 Holy Lights. Don't forget though to still spam Consecration on cooldown, even in between Holy Lights, and most cadavers should actually explode inside your Blessing of Protection, which makes you take no damage. After Blessing of Protection is over, move away as there might still be some exploding cadavers left that can kill you, and finish up the last mobs. Time for the juicy loot. If you're wondering how I'm looting this fast, I've explained it before in one of my videos, but all you need to do is install any speed looting add-on like Speedy Auto Loot or Leatrix Plus, and then you bind something like Alt plus mouse wheel up and mouse wheel down in key bindings, targeting, all the way down to the bottom, interact with mouse over. I also want to point out that there's many different ways to kill these mobs, especially with better gear, but this is the safest and most reliable way I've found with this kind of minimum required gear. Make your way to the next pull and avoid pulling these mobs by hugging the walls, otherwise you'll take too much damage. Take your time to drink up, and when you're ready, hug the left walls while avoiding all the mobs until you're in the middle of these 2. Once here, exorcism the closest undead from the last pack and run back exactly in this way so that they chain pull the other groups. Get close enough to use Turn Evil on any non-elite mob from this pack and make your way to the kill phase. We do this because if we get too close to that group, one of the previous packs on the right will not get chain pulled. Dispel yourself or use Blessing of Freedom and exorcism any mob in that area while running to body pull the final pack next to the houses. Always try to keep your front or at least the sides to the mobs and jump turn whenever possible. Hide in this corner to force the casters into melee range and smash the like and subscribe, the consecration key. Like before, you want to judge Wisdom as soon as possible on the patchwork to start melee hitting him, since he has quite a lot more health than the rest. Seal of Wisdom back up so you're at or close to 100% mana, and repeat what we did in the previous kill phase. Once the trinket is down, swap back to Seal of Light while leaving Judgment of Wisdom on the patchwork, keep spamming Consecration, and this time, when you're low health, since this is a bigger pool, you'll want to use Divine Shield for the extra 3 seconds it provides instead of Blessing of Protection, which means an extra Holy Light in. If the exploding cadavers spawn after your bubble ends, just slowly kite backwards while leaving Consecration where they are, as they die before they even start running at you. Something I didn't mention before is that in these kill phases I keep dispelling myself, as some mobs leave a disease on you that reduces your magical damage done by 25 as long as I have the mana for it. Another thing is to be sure you bring a lot of backspace, and most likely you're going to have to go sell at Light's Hope every 2 runs, which lines perfectly with the shield repair as it breaks quite fast. For the last pull, usually hugging this corner means you don't pull this undead pack, but even if you do it doesn't matter much. Hug the next wall until you reach the end, Judgment the left 2 goals, and Exorcism the pack in the alley. Make your way to the final kill phase, leaving a few rank 1 consecrations to pull all the undeads in this area, and rinse and repeat everything we've learned thus far. Corner, Consecration on cooldown, Judgment of Wisdom, Seal of Wisdom, Trinkets at low health, melee hit the patchwork, and again back to Blessing of Protection the second time you get to low HP. So this summarizes this farm, and as you can see, each run takes about 9 minutes from start to finish, back at the entrance with mana to go again, and I hope it was a good enough guide to help you guys become the richest paladins in your servers. I gotta say though, I've been waiting a hell of a long time to feel this strong as a paladin, and I'm having so much fun. I can't wait to make even more videos for you guys and hopefully grow the community a bit more. So don't forget to subscribe and come by my stream every now and then and say hello or ask any questions. I'm always here to help. Nothing else to add. See you guys in the next one.